What up?
What's going on?
If you don't know already, it's because we were upstate. Now we're downstate.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were just upstate.
And we were just in upstate. We got to celebrate a wonderful man, our grandfather, Joe. He passed away last month, and so we went up there. We saw some family, got to celebrate him, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
it was a good trip.
It was so nice to see family that haven't seen probably since I was my kid's age.
Yeah.
And the most hilarious thing was people walking into the services, and I would nudge Beth. Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I mean, some of these people have not seen my kids since your wedding.
I was pretty good too. I was able to place 95% of our family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Laura.
Yeah.
That walked up to me and she gave us all hugs, and she got done. She was like, "I haven't seen. Look at us. We all have kids now. All this stuff." And I'm like, and she walked away.
I knew who it was.
And I turned to Beth. I was like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah.
I don't know. And who are you?
I think I recognized all the family members. I did have to be reminded of Miss Jane, Nani's friend.
I knew who that was
because I had not seen her in so long.
That one took me just a second. Like when she came over, but it clicked immediately. Like when I thought about this face is familiar, I'm like, oh, it's Jane.
Yeah.
Like it clicked really quick for me, but I did have to think on that one.
But I'm also the oldest, so it would make sense I would remember pretty much everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Because like just being a year apart, like. Brian was probably
he was a lot younger the last
8
time.
or 9 maybe even the last time we saw some of those folks, and we would have been preteen or teenagers, so it makes sense we remember
they talked
more.
about when Uncle Sam and Aunt Joan went to Las Vegas, and I was young when that happened, so Brian
was
probably was like a baby. Or
did you see the pictures they were showing at
no,
Aunt
I didn't.
So there was a picture of everyone gathered at Nani's Blue House in Syracuse, having a get-together before Uncle Sam and Aunt Joan moved to Vegas. And our great Nani was in the picture. So we were very young. Brian was in a stroller. He was months old. He was definitely under a year old. He was months old in that picture. He was a baby.
So that would make sense that he might not know who people are.
I was thinking
we sprinkled in there. We had seen people sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
I think we were at a graduation at one point, but even then, if they're older than me, Brian was probably his kid's age or my kid's age.
Well, I think the last time that I remember
might have been Laura's graduation, actually.
Yeah, I would say the last time I remember seeing that family was for the graduation party in Buffalo. We went up there. That was the last time I remember seeing them.
Yeah. Brian's
supposed to eat your breakfast before the podcast starts, Brian.
Sorry, I had my microphone muted, so you guys wouldn't hear that crunch, crunch, crunch. I remember the trip to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I only remember one thing about this trip to Buffalo. And that was Mom took me to a park. I got on one of those carousel wheel things.
I remember that park.
A
I remember the park. It was
a
merry-go-round.
Yeah,
I remember that park.
And
it was a big circular one,
Tracy and Charlie were there.
And
Charlie was like spinning us on the merry-go-round.
And I fell off the merry-go-round and I got covered in mud. That's all I remember. Because I remember going back to somebody's house.
I do remember that, actually.
And having to get washed up.
Nope,
that's all I remember from that trip to Buffalo.
I remember a little bit more. They had a beautiful like pond in their garden and pond, or their front. Butch and Ann's, the front of their house. They had like a pond with fish in it, and it was just gorgeous.
I don't remember that much detail. I remember being there. I remember we were driving somewhere at night, and I fell asleep, and I don't know if it was Nani's van or we had the van at the time. I don't know. I fell asleep on Ann in the car, and I woke up, and I'm like on her shoulder, and I was like, oh, sorry.
And then, so we talked about, that picture in front of Nani's house. So we took my kids around Eastwood and Sedgwick, because that's my grandmother lived in Sedgwick. We live in Eastwood. And we went to see our old house, which is a little bit run down from when we lived there.
It's more than a little bit run down.
Yeah, Nani's house looks exactly the same. But I think one of my favorite things from this trip is when we went into the corner store. So we lived a quarter of a block. So you just a quarter of a block. Down the road we called it Vic's, because the gentleman that owns
Stafford, though. It's Stafford store, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Stafford Corner Store. We called it Vic's because the gentleman that owns it, name is Vic. And so we're pointing out, we're like, this is where our old babysitter was and all this. And then we go in, and it's just so amazing to that he remembers us. Mm-hmm. He's talking to the kids, and he's like, the last time, he's like, I remember when your parents were this age. They were as young as you. And then our old babysitter was in there. And I was like, oh my God, I just showed them your house because she lived right across the street from it. And I got in the car and I'm like, because it's just so nice. It's just so nostalgic. And just like when people, because I haven't been to New York. I've been to New York much less than you guys have. And when I did go, I was with my ex's side of the family for a lot of it. So
I've only been home like 3 times since I moved here.
So I didn't
Maybe
like
4.
go to like the Stafford Corner Store or really drive around Eastwood or anything like that. So that was really special to me this time.
Yeah. I did that the first time I took Sam and Riley up there because it was the first time they'd ever been to New York and I wanted to show them where I grew up. But no, I like stopping in the Stafford and seeing Vic and them. It's always fun because they always remember. They always ask about Mom and Dad. Last time I was there, they said that Tommy Padula was just in there like like either a month or so before I was up there, showing his wife the neighborhood and everything. And I'm like, it's just, when you have stuff like that corner store was such a staple for us, and it was really a safe place for us.
Yeah.
Like, all the neighborhood kids would go there after school. I mean, it was closer even to our elementary school than it was to our house. So
yeah,
we'd walk that way home and stop there after school or
get some 25-cent things.
Yeah, get some 25-cent things or
some little diabetus snacks.
Yeah,
little diabetes snacks.
All the gummy worms and stuff that we didn't need,
zebra
right?
Cakes,
so
fudge rounds.
Yeah. The handicap, the cheese fries,
the Sobe drinks
fries or whatever.
When I was a teenager, I would get those the strawberry daiquiri Sobeys.
But that's
Arizona iced teas.
Yeah.
That place is always awesome to stop at, and then just how he recognizes us and remembers us and our family. Like that's a cool thing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was really fun. I think the kids had fun too because the whole time like we were driving around showing them the high school and Nani's house, like I was sitting there acting like a whole tour guide, like I was holding my hands like this, and I was like, and over here to your right, you'll see the park
and they
that
were
our Nani used to take us to, and they were really looking at it all and taking it in, We went by, showed them the tennis courts, down by Nani's, and how Nani used to walk us down there, and we'd play tennis, and Dad would play with us there too. But we went through and drove by all that stuff. It was cool to see.
The only thing that could have made that tour better is if you gave the kids like disposable cameras.
Oh, that would have been cool.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Next time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was fun. We went down, got on Erie Boulevard for a minute, and all that stuff. Took them kind of all around there. It does look a lot different.
James Street was looking pretty nice over by where the Palace Theater is. Kind of like they gave it a facelift and then stopped.
Yeah, but a lot of it has
bookstore.
changed. And I would just like to make this public statement. Say I'm very sad. The Taste of Philly is gone. That place was so good.
It was so good.
It was a little hole in the wall, mom and pop little cheesesteak store, and
there's a lot of stuff that's gone now.
It's gone. It couldn't have been gone
Taste
that
of
long.
Sunday. That was right down the road from our church.
That's
Steak and Sunday.
Steak and Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, that's been gone a while.
That's been gone a minute.
That moved though, didn't it? Didn't it move somewhere else?
It moved. Yeah, it did. I wonder if it's still open.
I think
it did move.
I think it moved over to Teal.
Maybe
Teal Ave.
I can't remember where it moved.
On the other side of Shop City.
But yeah, we kind of we went up through the north side and.
Yep. Yeah, because we drove the funeral home was down there on Salina, so. We even drove through some of downtown or, some of that area going toward that way and then going over to the restaurant afterwards.
Brian got to get some biscottis.
Oh, sure did.
A lot of the area there.
Uh-huh.
So we took the kids by our first apartment in North Syracuse, Apartments.
Oh, nice.
Because we were out that way going to Tully's and we were a little bit early, so we cut down Route 11 and showed them our very first apartment and circled back. That was... that was fun. Right
down the road from Geddes Bakery, which I loved their cannolis.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I know it's different regional foods and stuff, but just the food up there, I just think was just so much better. Everything I ate.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go over this, right? We'll take it a meal at a time.
Okay.
So,
our first meal.
Very first night we got there. So, first of all, I would just like to say, when my sister told me that, she called me and she's like, we promised the kids pizza on Friday.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I just want you to know. I'm like, okay, I'm totally going to be okay with that. It's freaking New York pizza. Yeah, sign me up, right? So, but then she said that her best friend and kids were going to come have dinner, which is great. And then come and maybe swim at the hotel. And I remember thinking, I was like, she is going to be so tired. But, I get it because it's a very quick trip, right? So anyway, we get up there, we drive.
We stopped, so it wasn't as bad as it was going to be.
On the way there, we stopped at hotels 2 a.m. I do got to tell this story too, though. on the way there, we're pulling out of a rest area, and Nichole totally curbed the car. So
I did. Oh yeah, I hit the curb.
Right? And what's so funny about that is my wife texted me at work yesterday and said Riley's playing on her Oculus, and she must be driving something because she's in there laughing and just saying, "Ha ha ha! It's okay. I drive like Aunt Nichole." And I said, she must have hit a curb in the game because Nichole hit a curb coming out of a rest area and on the way to New York. And Sam was like, I didn't even ask her the story behind it. She's like, I just thought it was so funny. I was laughing, and it was hilarious. I told Nichole that
she'll never forget.
I was like, that'll be the one thing she remembers from that trip is Aunt Nichole hit a curb.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so we get up to New York, and so we go to get pizza for dinner. Well, we looked at two options. We said, okay, if Vicky's ice cream is open and you can eat at Gino and Joe's, we're going to go Gino and Joe's. If it's not, we tossed around going out to Sammy's in Bridgeport because they had ice cream right down the road too by where our aunt lives. So, but Gino and Joe's was open. They had a dining room, and Vicky's was open. So we went over to Gino and Joe's, and on the way there, like Nichole and I had a conversation, or maybe it was a little bit before, we're like, I don't even know if we want toppings on the pizza. Like just a cheese pizza.
Just a good New York style
basic
cheese pizza
and some chicken wings. Just sounds
so
good.
The way to go too.
And it hit so good. So we got there, ordered a couple pizzas, 20 wings, paid our firstborn child and 2 arms and a toe for it, but it was every bit of what you want in a good pizza.
Tears in my eyes.
It was delicious.
Okay,
so good.
Brian joined the party.
Yeah, so I flew into New York. I didn't want to drive because I don't like driving that long in a tuna can car.
First of all, I have a mom car. It's not a tuna can.
I know,
Any car is a tuna can.
But you also had like 6 people in your car, so it would have been a tuna can.
It was 5 drunk.
Whatever. Anyway,
it would have been tight.
Yeah. So, anyways, I fly up, right? I get there, and so I text Beth because I know they had talked about getting pizza and bringing it back to the hotel, and so I text Beth. I'm like, hey, are you guys, getting pizza? Or have you guys gotten your pizza or whatever? And mind you, at this time, I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I had my gym clothes on because I was so set on going to the gym when I got there because I was like, I've been in a plane all day. I need to stretch and work out, all this stuff. I'm in my gym clothes, and so I text Beth. And she's like, yeah, we actually we went to Gino and Joe's. We're here waiting on the food right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I see the little bubble with the 3 dots. And then it said, and then we're going across the street. And that's all I had to read because I knew exactly which location they were at. And I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, the gym will be there tomorrow.
and I see the 3 little bubbles. It says, we'll be there in 20.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was so good. And
it was so good.
And it's funny because, right, we have this whole trip. We go through, we eat and everything. And then I come back to work, and one of the managers gets NY pie for his night team. And I eat it, and I'm like, oh my God, this tastes like shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I love NY pie.
The thing that I was like, oh my God, I've been such a cop-out on is the wings.
Oh my God.
I bit into my chicken wing, and I just looked at Nichole, and Nichole said,
heard it.
I heard that. And I was like, it's so good.
They were so good. I forgot how good chicken wings were because I go to our chicken wings are Buffalo Wild Wings. Right. And I'm like, oh, these are good wings or NY pie. I'm like, oh, this is really good. This is really good pizza. And then you go back home and you're like, oh my God, all that other stuff is crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just funny how that works. And then the Vicky's ice cream.
Oh. First of all, you can't, where we are in Tennessee, you just can't go somewhere and get a regular ice cream twist with sprinkles. The first time we asked for it, they're like, you can put sprinkles on a cone. And we're like, yeah, it's ruled in there, dude. But I don't know. It's just not as creamy.
Well, it's mostly frozen yogurt and stuff is what, or custard. Yogurt, that's down here. I mean, you get those mom and pop places that will have ice cream, but then there's no sprinkles. There's just, you can't
and
find
it's also
the
more
same
icy than it is milky.
It is more icy. No, that was delicious. Going and getting a really good. I got my twist with some chocolate sprinkles. Oh, it was so good.
That was so good. I wish we went again. And then the next morning, we went to Stella's Diner.
Oh.
And if you've been to Syracuse or lived in Syracuse, you probably know of Stella's location. And dude, I got the frittata, and it was Fretta. I guess.
It was.
That was very
so
much
good.
And she almost didn't get Italian toast.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
I forgot.
I was like, what are we even here for?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot Italian toast was a thing. So they're like, what kind of toast? I'm like, oh, probably wheat toast. And Elizabeth goes, Italian toast. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, Italian toast.
Yeah, that.
And it was so good. It was so good.
So I was staying with my buddy Jake, and so we had friends come over, and I didn't go to bed till like 3:00 that morning. Saturday morning.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And my alarm went off at 6 because I was like, okay, I gotta get up, go to the gym. So I'm on like, yeah. And I was like, oh crap, I gotta go to Walmart because I told Grandpa I would get pictures of the girls for him. And so I ran to Walmart, went there, went to the gym, and then got to Stella's. And when I got to Stella's, I was starving.
Yeah,
I was like, I want the New York strip steak, a couple of eggs, potatoes. Give me a side of French. Well, Beth ordered a side of French toast, which I mainly ate most of, and then give me some Italian toast. And I ate just about everything.
I didn't eat. I ate like half of my frittata, and I threw it away before we left. I'm so mad because I really wanted to eat the rest of that, but they're just.
I got the meat lovers omelet that I always used to get when we lived up there with potatoes, and then I got that side of French toast to eat, and I ate a little bit of that, and then between me, Brian, and Dad, we ate that French toast, but and then of course with Italian toast, and it was just so delicious. But I couldn't do it, man. I only ate I ate probably maybe a little over half the omelet, but I ate that toast.
That frittata with some hot sauce on it is like, man, I dream about that.
That's so good.
And I've tried to
Riley
remake it here.
She
and it's just not the same.
Their waffles are nice and thick, Belgian waffles, and Riley loves their waffles, so she enjoys it.
And they were so great. They're always so great. I mean, we had a party of like 12 or something or 11, and they're just
some service.
They're always so great.
Yeah. Speaking of, so the kids, right? I want to say, circling back to the pizza, my nieces are not homemade pizza fans, really. Especially my sister's oldest is not.
Yeah, my oldest, like, if we order pizza, she's eating something else. Like, she does not really eat pizza. My youngest will tell you that Little Caesars is great. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for my children, but they were born in Tennessee and they have no idea what New York style pizza is until now.
Riley will tell you that the little square pizza from Pizza Hut, the little like square.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say from school lunch, and I'm like, you know what? She's not wrong.
Yeah. No, the square pizza that you get in like those big boxes of Pizza Hut. That's Riley's favorite pizza. But those kids,
the dinner boxes,
destroyed that pizza in New York. They loved it. They were all getting excited about, okay, we gotta fold the pizza, eat it like a real New Yorker. You gotta fold it, and they're like, how do you fold it? So we're showing them how to fold their pizza.
Yeah.
And they each ate
like 3 pieces.
Addie
or something.
ate a couple pieces, and they're big slices. Addie ate at least 2 pieces of it, and Riley ate a good amount too, and all of them did.
Yeah, they all ate, and they all loved it.
Yeah, there was no zero. Do you know how hard it is to get 0 complaints from dinner when you have children?
Oh my gosh, dude!
There was not a complaint in that house.
And actually, I'm pretty sure Julie admitted that it was better than any pizza that she's ever had.
Yeah, all 3 of them
there is still hope for them.
Yep, they all enjoyed breakfast too.
Because Addie won't even eat NY pie. Like, if we go to NY Pie, she won't even eat there.
Yeah, and I know, and we're not trying to dog NY Pie. NY Pie is still the closest thing to New York pizza in Tennessee.
Yeah, living here is still the best thing we can get compared to, but I'm just the difference in it. Yeah.
Yep. And the kids, like, Julie's not a big egg eater, but she really enjoyed Stella's breakfast too, she said. So, I mean, it's just...
she'll eat eggs on toast. She actually asked me, she's like, I'm not hungry right now, but when you get home, can you make me eggs on toast? I'm like, yeah, baby.
I love it.
But that's how she eats her eggs. She just wants a couple of eggs on toast and that's it, so.
I love some good egg on... eggs on toast, that's one thing that every time I make it, I'm like, Nani would be so sad for me. Because she used to do it right. She'd poach them. Remember that? She'd have her pan. She'd poach them in there. I never poach them. I just flip them and fry them and put them on top of my toast.
Just fry them and put them on toast, and then we showed her how to poach eggs.
I remember Mom used to poach them, and then I remember Nani would poach them. I know she used to fry them too, but whenever
if you ask Nani though, she'll tell you that she doesn't remember doing that.
Oh, really?
And that
well, then maybe
we showed her.
But every time I think about it, I'm like, I should just poach these eggs. I'm like, I don't want to do all that, and I just fry them and throw them on top of toast.
I don't even think about poaching eggs. Right now, I'm eating just scrambled eggs on toast, so that's my hyperfixation food right now. Anyway,
poached eggs on toast are so good.
All right, so
good.
Pizza.
Stella's.
We had Vicky's after pizza. Then we had we had the services. We had the services and stuff. So I stopped by Biscotti's. Stuff. Yeah, Brian stopped by Biscotti's. Oh, well, that morning of Sunday morning. It was Sunday morning. Yeah. When did I go get the pizza?
That was Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. So Saturday was the service.
Then we went to Vito's.
To Vito's after to have a like an intimate dinner at Vito's.
So,
should we talk about the service first? Or are we just doing food?
We'll just do food.
Okay,
we'll just do food for right now. But
I'm just saying those cheesy breadsticks changed my life.
They did.
Oh, at Vito's. At Vito's, those were very good.
So, for the dinner after the services, they brought plates of biscotti cookies to the services.
Oh my god!
Oh wow! And so
I'm just saying, Brian is so lucky that he's still alive.
And I love the tricolor cookies.
We love the tricolor cookies.
Let me know when you get a wedding cake of that cookie.
I'll let you know when I have a wedding.
Okay. That's how much I love that cookie. Is I had Biscotti's make my wedding cake of that was cookie.
Amazing.
And it was delicious. And it was delicious a year later. Anyways, so
they looked at them like they were crazy when they asked for that.
Yeah, that's a whole different other story.
Yeah. Story for another time.
So
I'll tell you when you're older.
So they only had like these little tiny pieces, probably about 5 or 6 per plate. There's only 2 plates, and I had 3 off of each. And so then Julie.
So I said, Brian, go get me. I was like, when they open that other plate, I was like, run in there and get me a rainbow cookie.
And I did.
So he did. And as I was eating it.
As she was eating that one, Julie comes over and she's like, hey, I don't like it. And she gives it to her. And I start to reach for it. And she's like, no, my kid, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, my kid, my cookie, because you've already had 17.
So she like, I think you were talking to Addie. And she's like this. And her other hand is just holding the other one out. And so I just.
You sure did.
Real quick. And she just looks at me like.
Like, you mother. You know
Listen,
what?
as far as I'm concerned, I was just taking payment for going to get your cookie. That's all
I was so mad.
You're paying your toll. So Vito's
I don't want to
dinner,
pay an extra $4.
That was really nice to sit to have be able to sit with family.
Vito's was good.
That dinner, what was better than the food was the fact that I got to sit next to Aunt Carolyn and hear all the great stories about my grandmother and just the stories in general. That was so much fun.
Nani is the baby in her family, and she's 12 years younger than her older sister and 15 years younger than her older brother. So, yeah. So Aunt Carolyn was telling me all the fun stuff about Nani. So that was really fun to sit next to her. Just like seeing everybody was just really, really nice.
Yeah, it's always really sad to have to go to a funeral, obviously, and stuff like that, but. Being able to see those people that we haven't seen in a long time.
Unless you're us, then it's not sad.
Yeah, we'll tell you about that in a minute.
Unless you're what?
Coming soon.
Then it's not sad.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can tell that story.
We've talked about not being able to process feelings, so we do grieve.
Are we telling that story? Is that what
we're doing food first. Okay, so
Sunday morning, breakfast. So we were dog tired. So Saturday night, we went back to the hotel. Annie and Pat came over, and we were going to play some games in the lobby. So played some games in the lobby. Which, let me tell you that classic Syracuse. No, we're talking about food. So let me just stop. So let me stay on track. So they came over, play games in the lobby till 11. We go up. So I get up in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock. And like I talked to the kids earlier. I was like, it'll either be Denny's because they've never really had a decent Denny's. And then or breakfast pizza because it's freaking New York. And I love breakfast pizza. So I got up. The kids were all still sleeping. So I'm like, I'm just going to go down to Burn Dairy. I'm just going to go down to Burn Dairy and get breakfast pizza. Mm-hmm. And
she's like, can I take the car? I'm like, if you don't leave me alone.
Well, wasn't my vehicle. I wanted to ask. So
waking me up is to me the worst thing.
Well, going forward, I'll just take it. So when you get up, your keys are gone, then you'll know.
That's fine.
Because if I leave my kid, obviously, then I'm not going anywhere else. So anyway, I go get breakfast pizza. Well, first of all, when I used to work at that gas station, Nice and Easy, I could bring home a breakfast pizza. And I used to bring it home to you when you watch the dog and stuff. And I could buy a breakfast pizza for $12. 2 breakfast pizzas in New York cost me almost $50. $47 for 2 breakfast pizzas from Burn Dairy.
And they were not nearly as good as they used to be, I don't think.
No, Burn Dairy is not Nice and Easy. Nice and Easy had the best breakfast pizza, but it's still good breakfast pizza.
I mean, it's better than you're going to find anywhere else.
Yeah, it's better than you'll find anywhere else. Riley liked it. I guess Julie said she didn't really like it as much. And then Adelaide didn't really give me an opinion, but she ate 3 pieces of it. So she liked it enough to keep eating at it because it was bacon.
Addie could live on bacon.
But anyway, got that. So that was kind of another fix that I usually get when I'm up there is to get a breakfast pizza. So I did that Sunday morning for breakfast, and we had that.
And then for lunch, we went to Tully's, which is our favorite restaurant.
Oh. Yes.
I love Tully's.
And even Tully's, even a chain restaurant like Tully's, I felt like, I mean, there's, like I said, there's different foods down here. They have good Mexican food down here. There's barbecue down here. I don't think any of us are a super barbecue fan. You really like barbecue?
I love barbecue.
Okay, so we're not super barbecue fans. But even like their cheese fries are so much better than any cheese fries I've had down here.
I told Julie on the way there, I said, we're going to get cheese fries. I said, and you will find the source of why your Aunt Beth loves cheese fries.
Yeah.
Where it started. And so we ordered cheese fries. So the kids sat at their own kind of table, and then we sat with the adults. And so they were eating on their cheese fries over at the kid table. I looked at Julie, and she's like, they're so good.
Yeah.
I said, I told you, girl. I told you. They're amazing.
I don't really eat fries. I like Buffalo Wild Wings fries. I'll eat those with ketchup. But I really don't eat fries. And even when they're cheese fries, I'll have a few. But I don't know. I'm not a potato person.
It's just something about the consistency of those fries and the way they melt the cheese on it.
Like, they're not too potato-y, and they're just perfectly salted. It's just so good.
They're so good.
And probably, like, before we even left, I think, or right after we left, I always got the Tully burger sub a turkey burger. And they got rid of the Tully's burger years ago. And they didn't really have, like, a substitute. Well, now they have a club burger, which the Tully's burger didn't have bacon on it. But this had everything else. It was their special sauce. It's the only one that has a special sauce on it, and I love that sauce. And so I got that sub a turkey burger. And when I tell you, it was just like, because they put ketchup on it too, which I used to put ketchup on the other one. It tasted just like the Tully's burger. And everything about that Tully's trip was heaven. And I have not like, I was almost like, maybe I don't like Tully's because of like the last couple times I went. They've expanded their menu a lot. I'm like, oh, I don't really know if I want it. It was so good.
Yeah, so
it was so good.
So I have found, so I take trips to New York a lot more often than they do. I'm usually there once, probably twice a year sometimes. I know that they've expanded their menu, and Jake has gotten me into that. So those Tex-Mex egg rolls that I got,
those were delicious. So good.
Were delicious. When I was there last time, I didn't see them on the menu this time, but when I was there last time in February, they had a Reuben egg roll, which had like the sauerkraut, the corned beef, and like the Thousand Islands dressing to dip in it. Oh my god, they were incredible.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And that bowl you had,
and then I got
it was really good.
I'm on a healthier kick, so I got like a rice bowl, but I still had to get my fix of tenders, so I got a side of tenders, and honey mustard. But that bowl was really good too, and the chicken was really good, the seasoning was really good on it. And then obviously top it off with a Labatt Blue Light.
I'm an old school classic. Tully's tenders, but I dip them in marinara sauce because it's friggin' delicious. If you haven't tried it, try it. It'll change your life. So really good. And then I also had at Vito's, I had 2 beers at Vito's, which if you guys know me, I don't drink anymore, really hardly ever.
Yeah.
So for me to have a couple beers is a very rare occasion.
But when in Rome.
But when you are in the land of Labatt Blue Light, you do a disservice if you do not have one. So I had 3 during my trip. I had 2 at Vito's and I had 1 at Tully's. Because I get my fix every time I go up there and have a couple beers.
Yeah.
When I saw the extended menu, I was a little worried that because mostly when we lived there, it was mostly like bar food. Yeah. Like sports bar food, and they expanded to like the bowls and stuff. And I'm like this much stuff, it can't all be like good, right? And it is. Yeah. I was like,
they have
bowls.
It's a great restaurant. I love that place. We loved it growing up. I still love it.
Yeah.
So I always try and hit it at least once while we're up there.
Yeah.
And that's like one thing, like we've talked about before, about like family coming to see you when you drive so far. Like that's one thing about like Annie is she will come to wherever I am.
She came to the hotel, came to Stella's, came to Tully's. Yeah.
Because she knows that like, she wants to spend time with us. And
she came to the service too. And that's my dad's side of the family. And this was our mom's side of the family. She was one.
She is she's just always willing to put forth the effort that we put in. And I love that so much because one, I love her to death. She's been a very, very important person in my life, but it's always nice that she comes to us because we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. We had family stuff going on.
Right.
I mean, basically every day we were up there. So, like for her to make herself available for the few minutes we could squeeze her in. Yeah. I love that about her that she will.
And she's been so supportive too of our podcast, and we love you for that too. And it's been so nice.
Sunday we we all went to Aunt Cindy and Uncle Kippy's house. Just spend some extra time with
Nani
and people. And Uncle Kippy cooked up some. I know you brought burgers, but he cooked up some Gianelli
sausage was so good.
Oh,
it was so good.
And normally I haven't had like a sausage sandwich because every time I have them here, I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hesitant.
And again, you're like, Johnsonville's not bad until you have Gianelli.
And I'm like,
I don't like Italian
and
sausage.
I had completely forgotten about Gianelli sausage.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Uncle Kippy's asking, what do you guys want? I tell him, just give me a couple sausages. It's fine. I get in there and I grab the sausages. I bite into it and I'm like, oh my God, this is Gianelli sausage. And like fireworks start going off in my mind. And I'm like, where has this been all my life? But that was really, really, really good. And
again, just like the food is just.
Yeah. I will say, the food. I will say what I love the most about Uncle Kippy and Aunt Cindy's house is like, it had been so long since I had been up that way. Like we were supposed to go and have dinner with them one of the trips that we were up there, but Riley got sick, so she. Which that I believe that curse is officially broken. But
yeah, every time Beth has gone up with
I've
Riley,
taken my daughter up two other times, and both times she has got vomiting sick while we were up there. The first time was the first time she ever really got like vomited at more than once. Like she had, I don't know if it was food poisoning or a stomach bug. She vomited for like 12 hours. So I hadn't been to their house in several years.
Yeah.
So when I stayed out on the back porch probably 98% of that day because it is just so gorgeous out there. And I sat out there talking with, family and just looking out at the yard. And I'm like, I've had a goal for many years to have land in Tennessee. Like I want a good chunk of land, a couple, like really between like 5 and 10 acres. And just sitting out there looking at that cornfield and looking at all the space, I was like, this is what I need.
I know.
I was in the kitchen for a lot of it because I love their kitchen. I always have.
It reminded me.
That's what I want.
Yeah, it reminded me outside, like the kid, all the space in the yard. I kept telling the kids, go play, go get in the grass, like
go touch grass.
Yes. So like I went out there and kicked the soccer ball around with them a little bit, and then so Uncle Kippy had made this trail that leads back to his wooded area that they can walk up and down. And so the kids, they thought they were going to be brave and they wanted to go walk this trail. Right. So they were like, we're going to go out and walk this trail. And I'm like, good for you. Get out there. Go in the woods. Go you. Right. And Nani's like, I don't know. They shouldn't go by themselves. There's people. I said, Nani, let them go. Like we grew up like at Grandma and Grandpa's in the woods and we would walk out, here and whatever. Yeah. So I just let them go. What are they going to do? And I told Nani.
She knows to go through the
I looked at Nani. I said, they're not going to make it very far anyway.
I know these little city girls.
And they're like, oh yeah, we are. We're going way back there. And I tell you, they weren't gone 10 minutes. And I said, I start seeing them come out of there. And I said, there's no way you made it to that tree line that quickly. And then they're all like, well, Riley got scared. No, Julie got scared. No, Adelaide wanted to turn around. No, it was everybody's fault why they couldn't go any further. Right. And so I thought that was so funny. But then actually Uncle Dan ended up taking Riley and Julie out on that trail later in the evening. And they had so much fun.
Yeah.
They Riley was like talking about it, so like how much fun she had out there and seeing all the stuff. And I thought it was so funny because when, Uncle Dan said, hey, I'm going to take them out there. Is that okay? I'm like, oh, absolutely. Like, take them. And then he goes with the kids and I looked at Aunt Sandy and them and I said, I don't think he knows what he's signing up for. That could be a handful. And she's like, no, he'll love it. And I'm like, okay, And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think I gave her ADHD medicine this morning, so she's really gonna be a handful. And but anyway, so they come back and he says to me, that Riley, she's gonna be a handful for you. And I said, and I just started laughing. I said, I told them. And she said, she was so great, but she wanted to see animals. And she kept saying how she wanted to see a deer and she wanted to see this, she wanted to see that. She goes, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that if she didn't stop talking, we weren't going to see anything. She just wanted to go and look at this and go and look at that. And I was like, I just laughed. I was like, that's Riley for you.
Yeah.
That was a good time. Yeah. It was definitely nice seeing.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see the family, and it was great to be back in that play. I don't think we hadn't been all there together like that since probably your graduation party before Mom and Dad moved to Tennessee. I mean, that was something that we always had a lot of fun, whether it was out back playing catch with a football or I think we horseshoes or, whatever else they had out there that we would always play and just hang out, so that was it was really great to see Brandon. I hadn't seen Brandon in years.
Like he's a whole ass adult now.
Like I swear, like when I tell you, I walked into the bar area at Vito's and Brandon is ordering a drink at the bar, and I'm like, excuse me.
I said, Anthony, I was like, you can't let this child order a drink.
I was like, I just, my whole body felt like this is wrong. He shouldn't be allowed to order a drink. But I mean,
no, that was just the arthritis setting in.
Yeah, it was my senile brain because of how old I am. But it's so funny to see that stuff too. I mean, even at the hotel, like when Steven came to visit, and they were talking about the bar, and I'm like, no, you're 5. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I remember you said when Corey was coming.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's got little kids. I'm like, his kids are the same age as our kids. And Elizabeth's like, no, he has toddlers. I'm like, no.
I'm telling our kids to behave because Corey's bringing these little toddlers to dinner and his kids are the same age as ours. And like just in your brain, they freeze, when you don't see them all the time, they freeze to, the last time you saw them. And when last time I saw a lot of those people, they were very young. So, it's just kind of how they stick in your mind.
And I do think like, Brian Tara's wedding is the last time I saw a lot of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because the other times that we went up, it was usually for Dave's side of the family because of people passing away or.
Yeah, I mean the last time I saw a lot of everybody was Nolan's wedding.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and I couldn't go up for that one.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I mean, when we get up there, like the last time I was up there, I think the last time we spent almost a week up there, but the other 2 times, like this last time we went this past weekend, and then the very first time we went up was just long weekend. So and that just is not enough time up there to see things, because, I mean, especially when you drive, travel takes up so much of that time.
Yeah.
And then you're so exhausted that like you just can't. I can't go late into the night anymore because like on a typical day, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm already in bed. Like, so to like even staying up late Saturday till after 11 to play games in the lobby with Annie. And then I came in and showered and I didn't probably hit the bed till close to midnight. Like I was exhausted.
Yeah. I
can't do it like I used to.
I don't think there was a single night that I was up there that I went to bed before midnight.
Yeah, I can't do that.
And so you guys went home early Monday morning.
Yeah, we left about 4 a.m. Monday morning.
My flight didn't leave until about 5 o'clock, so I got to stay and eat some extra food.
Where'd you go?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
yeah, let's hear this story.
So I called Dad Monday morning. I was like, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, well, I was thinking about going to play golf.
If you say Beeville Diner, I'm going to disown you.
No. And he was like, I was going to go play golf. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Hey, you want to go hang out and go get some Wegman subs? And some Burn Day chocolate milk? And he was like, yeah, I'll be ready in about an hour. So I went out to Beeville, and we swung by Grandpa's house and saw Grandpa and Lillian. And we were there probably for like an hour. And then we drove into Liverpool Clay area. Went to the Wegmans out there. I got a bunch of Syracuse stuff.
Yeah, I don't have my Syracuse, but that's where I got my Syracuse stuff.
So got a sub.
We did have some Burn Dairy chocolate.
Was it really good? Last time I was up there and got a sub, it wasn't the best.
So that's was my issue. So the last time, or a couple times ago, I went to the one on James Street and I got it.
That's where I got mine.
I'm like, this wasn't really good. I got it at this one. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like, this is so much better than the last time I was here.
So maybe it's just that site. Maybe I just got to go to a different one next time.
And so I was like, wow. Because I got, just turkey provolone, some sub oil, lettuce, cucumber.
Sub sauce.
And I was tempted. I almost bought a bottle of it because they sell it by the bottle now.
Yeah. Publix has a Boar's Head one, I think.
So we had that, right? And Dad got a giant sub. And I'm like, listen, you need to pace yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to pace yourself.
We got all day. There's a lot of places to hit.
And so I got just a little half a sub, ate that.
And a little half a sub. How big is a little half a sub?
It's bigger than a 6-inch sub. Yeah. It's got to be like 8 inches.
So.
Anyways,
it's a good size.
So I got that, and then
a full size is like this big.
And we were like, let's go into Syracuse and hit Marshall Street and get some stuff because I wanted to get some stuff for the girls. I wanted to get them.
I did Marshall Street last time I was up there.
I wanted to get them like some dresses or anything. I really wanted to get them some stuff autos, which I did.
Did you get them some?
I did. Nice. I got them each one, and got them some clothes. Dad picked up some stuff. He got some new like pajama pants and a polo. And then I couldn't find anything for Josie at Marshall Street because everything was too small. So, but anyways, we swung into a Dunkin' Donuts because Dad had to use the restroom while we were on Marshall Street.
From that sub?
Probably. And we're sitting in Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm just waiting and everything, and he's using the bathroom, and I look over, and what do I see? A headlight donut. And I'm like, oh, hello, beautiful. And I walked
long time no see.
And I walked
Come here often.
So I walked up to the counter.
Like, get in my belly.
And I'm like, see, Brian, this is exactly why you save room in your stomach. And so I bought the donut, and as Dad's coming out, I'm just like, and he's like, I don't think I could eat anything. I was like, this is why you don't eat a whole sub.
Yeah.
But it was delicious, and you cannot find a headlight donut anywhere.
No. Brian, what is a headlight donut?
A headlight donut is essentially what it looks like. It looks like a Boston cream. It looks like but there's no filling on the inside, and there's just a little bit of whipped cream on the top, and it looks like a headlight.
Yep.
That's all that it is.
They are very.
If you don't know what Boston cream is, you're probably not from the north, and it's Bavarian cream down here.
Yes. And so, yeah, that's all that is. Why can't we make those? What's the issue? Anyways,
what's the problem?
What's the problem? But then that was really like the only extra food that I ate, because then we went to Destiny
USA
to the university shop there, and I found something for Josie and picked something up, and then I had to bring Dad back to Antonino Kippy's house out in Beeville, and I was gonna hang out there for a bit because my flight I was only 2 hours out before my flight had to leave.
Yeah.
And I was going to hang out there for like another hour. Well, then I got a notification on my phone that I had to bring the car back at 3 o'clock, and it was 2:40.
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, and so I'm like, okay, guys, sorry, I can't talk. I got to go. Throw everything.
Okay, bye.
I'm like shoving stuff into my suitcase, closing it and everything, like all the stuff that I bought from Marshall Street. And so I take off, and it has me jump on the thruway. I'm doing 85 on the thruway.
Yeah,
and then I realize, I'm like, crap, I need gas. Because I
gotta fill it up.
Because I got to return it with a full tank. I'm like, ugh. I should have paid the extra premium so I didn't have to fill it up. But it actually would have been more expensive than actually me filling it up, because I think it was like $55 for the extra fill up.
I don't even want to talk about how much it took to fill my car.
Oh, Lord. Nichole lost her mind when she filled
I lost my
whole
damn mind.
But yeah, that was but we
Did you make it in time?
Yeah.
I finished the story.
Yeah.
I need to know.
I got there like 2 minutes late. But Dad and I also stopped at a Burn Dairy, and we got some Burn Dairy chocolate milk, and I picked up some snacks for the airport, so I didn't have to buy stuff at the airport because it's expensive. But yeah, that was my extra time.
I ate so many Sour Patch Kids on the way home just to stay awake that like I'll probably never eat them again.
Yeah,
because I always travel with like usually Twizzlers. I didn't eat any of my Twizzlers this trip, and then something sour.
I know they're at my house in a container.
Yeah, there you go. Because then like I eat something sour because that helps me stay awake when I'm tired. So I ate just so many Sour Patch Kids because on the way home we were exhausted. Nichole and I switched like every 3 hours because we just couldn't hang longer than driving 3 hours because we were just so tired. So I was like popping them Sour Patch Kids just trying to stay awake, and I was like, oh.
On the way up, I drove the whole way because we stopped, so that wasn't a big deal. But on the way home, we had to keep switching.
I picked up a bag of Sour Patch Kids on the way to Riley's soccer game the other day because I was like, well, it sounds good. And I was tearing them up on the trip home, and every time I put one in my mouth, I was like, ugh. So the bag is still sitting on my counter at home, and I've tried to give it to Riley like 4 times, so I'm probably gonna just throw it away because I just can't eat any more of them.
Yeah, that's why I fly.
Okay, I think it's time to tell them about what happened at the service.
Oh, backtrack.
These two.
It was I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Do you need me to tell a story? Because y'all children.
Nope.
I can tell her. You want to tell it? Or you tell it, Brian.
I can tell it because it was mostly me.
Because you started it.
I started it because I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, that's your own fault.
All right. When nature calls, I guess that's my problem. But anyways, so
first of all, just know that we are terrible at like those uncomfortable moments. So like, like, and we don't do well at funerals. Like, when my grandmother passed away,
the same scenario happened.
Yeah, the same thing happened. We were just more fortunate this time. We didn't have to be in the main room. There was only one room for Grandma's funeral, and me, Nichole, and Tiffany were sitting there trying our best not to laugh, because we just laugh at inappropriate things. It's how we channel our grief. I know it's probably not the right way, and we were probably judged, but we like to laugh.
Yeah, and so we were in this separate room, kind of around the corner, and
where we belonged.
And so it was the three of us, the kids, and then Annie and Pat.
And
Jake.
Who, thank you to the story.
I just want to say thank you to Jake, too, though, because he also showed up in support of Joe. Yeah. And that was, like, for those that showed up, you know, like, just to be there for Nani and just Joe and his family, like, just thank you so much. There was so many faces there that I don't want to, that wouldn't be required to be there, but came out of their love for Joe and their love for Nani and the families coming together. And that was just a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah.
But so we're in this separate room, right? And so I'm in this corner chair and I have to use the bathroom, like really bad, because I had been drinking a lot of water. and
Beth and I are right next to each other, just like this, except there's a lamp
and so they're kind of
right
over
here, so I can't see Beth, which is
and so I'm
good.
like, I'm looking at
was
Beth.
Very good.
I'm looking at Beth and I'm like, I gotta pee.
I was like, cross your legs.
And so like my leg is bouncing and everything, and I'm like, and so here comes Beth looking at me. Drip, drip, drip. I'm like, shut the hell up. Right? And so
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the responsible one. I don't know what.
And so I'm like, okay, so I'm like,
that was a lie.
I told you I still look for the adult to your adult. I don't know what y'all expect.
And so Nicole's like, just go. And I'm like, no, it'd be awkward. Like, people are talking and music
like
is
they're
playing.
like standing right in front of like.
Yeah, there's no way he can get to
like
the bathroom.
Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah, there's no way he can get to the bathroom without walking by the main room where they were doing the service for Joe, and walking through that way. There was no easy
and
way.
Then, like,
and people are sharing memories.
Yeah. And then so I wait, some time goes by,
and if he stood up, someone was going to hand him the microphone. And then
yeah, right. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, you wanna?
Yeah. And so they do like a few minutes goes by, and I'm like, okay, now should be the time I should go. And they're like, now we're gonna do the presentation of the flag by the U.S. Air Force. And I'm like, oh god. And they come from around the corner where the bathroom is. I was like, oh, that would have made it so much more awkward. Just walking over. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Can you just move out of the way of the bathroom, please? So they come around the corner, right? And they do that and everything. And so then they're
closing it out.
They're closing it out. They do the final prayer and they play. They're like, we're gonna play one more song. And on the pamphlet, the final song is "Circle of Life" by Elton John. Now in my head, I'm like, I'm already on the giggle fits right now. I'm like, I swear to God, if I hear that, I am going to lose all control, and there will be nothing anybody can do. Because remember, at this point, I'm still only going on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
From the night before, so I'm already delusional and tired. All right. And so they start playing the actual Elton John version, right? Just piano and everything, and
it is a beautiful song.
It is a very beautiful song. And so what do I see? I look over at Beth, and she's got the pamphlet, and she just starts going like this, and raising it up like Simba. And so here I go.
And I'm just shaking my head,
Beat
going.
Red.
And luckily, I didn't see Elizabeth because if we look at each other, if we look at each other when one of us is laughing, it is over.
Right at the ground. And all I could think in my head was, "Do not look at," because I heard Brian chuckling, and I'm like, "Don't you dare make eye contact with Nichole or Brian, because you will lose your whole shit." And then I hear Riley's next to me starting to snicker, and I'm looking at her. I said, "Riley, I love you, but please, I need you not to laugh because I'm gonna laugh."
There was that, and then Adelaide, your oldest, I'm sitting next to her, and she.
And that's when I almost lost it.
That's when I was lost too, because
it's so quiet. We're doing so good, and then I was like, "Achoo!" So loud.
And so we're just like,
and then Nichole dropped her phone,
and then my phone falls out of my pocket. It's like,
oh,
and then
Jake, here comes Jake. This is why he's important. Goes.
So at that point,
we were all dying. And thankfully, the song ended, and it was was over and we could just like let it out because like if it would have lasted any longer, we would have been
and there's like
in big
people
trouble.
like across from us just looking at us like, you piece of shit. And I was like,
and then so here's the worst part of all of it is here comes Nani around the corner and the freaking kids, they just run right to Nani to tell her about how we were laughing and trying to get us in trouble. I mean, Juliana threw me all the way under the bus. Like, as soon as Nani came around the corner.
You cannot tell that girl.
I mean, I expect that from Riley. Riley to throw you under the bus, too, but it was both of them. Riley and Julie, right to Nani. Like, it was Bethy's fault. And I was like, come on.
So it's funny. So growing up in church, when we would go with Nani, if we ever did something like that, Nani would like pinch us.
Give us a little pinch.
Give us a
behind
little
the arm, little pinch. Or she would, if I was like cracking my knuckles, she would just put her hand on top of my hands, and I'd be like, well, you better stop.
And so Nichole was like, Nani need to be back here. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, listen, if Nani was back here pinching me, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
Nope. Because so after, Jake had let his, little out and everything. So I am over in the corner. I am biting my knuckle.
I'm just looking at my phone.
I'm biting my knuckle, and I whip my phone out, and I'm like, and just have all these indentations on my face. Yeah, I was.
We're terrible. But then Elizabeth made a good point. She was like, Joe wouldn't have minded if we were, just having a good family moment.
He was such a just love, fun, and funny, and he was a jokester himself, and always had great one-liners. So like I know that he would not have wanted us all to just be sitting there in misery. So like I really feel like it was okay. We weren't. We're obviously, all loved him very much and miss him dearly, and we all were grieving and stuff, and we just
Well, I think one thing that at least helped with me personally, because I know when Grandma passed away, right, I was a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
I was a hot mess up in the hospital and at the funeral services and everything, and I think that was because the turnaround. So right, she passed, and then we had the services. It was an open casket, all this stuff, right? So I'm just a mess. Yeah. With this, right? We're talking a month.
Yeah.
From the time that he passed to doing the services, right? And it wasn't an open casket. He had been cremated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, but that month it gave at least me time
to grieve,
to grieve and really, process everything. And so now I can go in and be like, you know what? I've done my grieving. I've shed my tears. We're here to celebrate.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like, we're celebrating his life, and that's what. So, like, I ended up on that couch because Riley got emotional and she started crying with everyone was talking and stuff. So I went over there to console her, and that was very helpful because if I would have still been in that other chair, I'd have been looking right at you.
Yeah.
So Adelaide, I had Adelaide switch with me so I could console Riley, and
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Or like it was Joe. Joe was like, I want them to have fun, but they will be judged if they start laughing out loud like that. So let them switch seats. It was definitely a work of some kind of something to get us to switch seats there. So thank you, Riley.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I'd have been looking right at you.
So bad.
Right, because Beth was.
I was sitting next to
me. Right, and so that just.
And then I had to have Adelaide swap with me. Yep.
Like we were directly across from each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been terrible.
Yep.
That lamp is the only thing that saved me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I don't think I ever stared. I could probably tell you what that carpet was made out of. I was staring at it so hard. Just trying not to make eye contact with anyone else.
I have that
is a beautiful Berber rug.
I have the design of that rug etched inside of my mind.
I bet you that fiber came from
wall. I was staring at the wallpaper. I was like, is there something on here I can count? Something I can...
I'm just like, what I was doing, I was looking at the rug and I'm looking, okay, so it's symmetrical. So if I look for that thing over here, I should be able to find it. that's where I was at. Yeah, that was fun, but it was pretty rough.
Look, it was a good time to celebrate everyone to celebrate Joe over the weekend and see everybody. That was definitely bittersweet.
Yeah.
So for sure.
It's time for Facebook flashback. Will we cringe or will we make it out okay?
I think I might make it out okay. So 7 years ago, it was yesterday, but I posted today. Tara and I went to go see Andy Mineo.
Oh, that's
downtown
cool.
Nice.
At Marathon Music Works.
Fall shows start this week. Me equals exciting. Exciting? Me equals excited.
So,
probably.
13 years ago.
Oh, I have a little sister heart from you. 14 years ago.
13 years ago is when I let Cassandra put blue highlights in my hair.
Yeah.
Oh. That's cringeworthy.
It's a little cringeworthy. Well, your haircut was just too long. It wasn't the highlights.
And like it looked okay when I had my hair styled in the faux hawk, but if it was loose, it looked kind of like just globs of blue. But then when you fixed it, it looked nice, like there was just blue streaks in my faux hawk. But yeah, that was the only time I've ever had dye in my hair. And then like as it started going, it turned like green because of the bleach underneath it. So then it was like green for a little while. Yeah, while it grew out.
So this is not on my Facebook memories, but it was on my Facebook memories a few days ago. I didn't screenshot how long ago it was, but less than 7 years ago. Mama ain't raised no bitch, and even if she did, it's my brother.
Oh, boom.
Whatever.
I just shared it. No, just kidding.
I also
I tagged Brian in it, but that was the one I kept.
I also had so 12 years ago is when I got this tattoo.
Ooh,
this one up here.
Well, that was for Grandma, right?
That was for Grandma. And then also 13 years ago, I was in school at KU Community College, and I got a free quesadilla from the taco place across the street from my dorm room. And I was like, epic. I just got a free quesadilla. Because, I ain't had no monies like that, and so free was right within my price range. Free quesadillas are always the best quesadillas. Prove me wrong.
I can't.
No, exactly. You're right.
Exactly. I think that's all that I had. So Andy Mineo concert.
No, just that my dyed hair. That's it, really. Everything else is for Grandma. So I think that's that. We pretty much hit everything that we did while we were up there.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Updownstate Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of these episodes as they come out. We want to take the time to appreciate and thank everybody for the support as we have started this journey and we'll continue.
Thank you to everybody who kind of went through those deep episodes with us and got to hear about that stuff in our healing journey, and then now we get to hear about some fun stuff too. Yep. So
we're on the way up from here.
I think next episode will be our game episode, right? So we're gonna play a game and talk some and just kind of BS around. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. Until next time, I am Brian,
Nichole,
Beth,
and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Peace out.